Welcome back to the class, everyone. We are now into our second week of 5v5. This is the second week ever that we are actually going to be seeing datacrons. And I do think these are going to start to play a bigger part in things. In the first week, we had one player or one opponent that actually used them quite a bit. But overall, it was kind of lackluster. And now, I think we're going to start to see datacrons getting a little bit of their revenge. So, before we go into the overall board set, and there is something very, very interesting on the board, as you guys can probably already see. Let's go ahead and do a quick compare of this guy's roster to see kind of where he stacks up to us in regards to, everything. So this is our opponent, Bombeiro. I'm guessing he's not Portuguese. I think he's in some Asian guild, which, fine. He does have a fair amount of advantage on us. He has 400 more relic levels. This number was getting smaller, but, we won a match last week, so I guess we're back to fighting people with 400 more relic levels than us. Overall, Omicrons, we actually have him beat, but not by a huge margin. It looks like we just had the first order TIE Pilot one, which is good. But I've made this comment before where I don't think really one of these really makes or breaks a team. Maybe Starkiller. Speed-wise, or mod-wise, rather, we have him beat by just really, really small margins. Like, we've got him beat by about 10 plus 25s. That actually is rather big. But then it's the same for plus 20s and plus 15s. Like, there aren't huge gaps here where he's going to be completely outmatched as far as mods go. And then, of course, he has Ray. But we will one day, too. Have Ray. But coming back to the field here that we already kind of started on. Let's see. I typically like to go bottom wall first. But yeah, he's got it, guys. He has the Grand Inquisitor. It's real. He's finally here. Honestly, I kind of do like his art. I think they somehow made him look like he does in the Kenobi series without making him look that bad. Like, he honestly, he looks pretty menacing and he looks close to his race. But anyways, I have no idea what any of this means. I know that he's pretty fast. I know that he's going to get about 50 on top of that, given how kind of his lead works. I'm going to have to... There's going to be a lot of reading on stream to figure out what's going on there. The rest of this isn't too big of a deal. Like, sure, that's the potency bounty hunter team that can be problematic. Iden, that'll probably... There isn't any potency on here, so Wampa probably to see that alive. Something easy probably beats Nute. Not quite sure, but he's never really a problem anymore. And then I had very limited time scouting. When we go to my defense, I'll explain that. I did not have nearly as much time as I wanted to. My defense is not how I want it to look like. There isn't anything super major, but at the same time, I should have switched a lot of stuff around that I just didn't. So he put gas down, and I was worried that he was going to put the stun datacron down with gas, because I think he has 2 of them. And I didn't take CLS because gas pretty much stops that, or that datacron stops the CLS counter. So we have C for this, which is probably overkill now, but at the same time, I don't really want to have to 2 or 3 shot that. This should be pretty easy for a Bad Batch, I think. There's no Malik, and it's a really fast start Drevan, which is kind of unnecessary. Nute hopefully just destroys this, and then this. It's a level 9 datacron Ray, and we're just going to have to throw a super JML at it, and it does look kind of threatening. She doesn't have the quad ult, so that's awesome for us. But this isn't bad. This is still something that, this is not going to be fun for us. Also, 130% health steal is also not going to be fun for us, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Our defense is kind of similar to what we've been putting down. Actually, not really. So, again, trying to call it Geos in this front wall. I should have put the stun mechanic onto our gas. Although at the same time, I wasn't too worried about that because I didn't put JML down right now, and I've been putting JML down for a while. We put this garbage SOKR team in here. Again, this is something that I should have changed. I should have put down a garbage Phasma team with first order TIE Pilot, and then split this team up. But again, I didn't have quite the time to be able to change everything up. And then chips are the same as always. So let's go ahead and see how this goes. And here come the battles. So starting off, we're going to go with what we know best, and that is General Grievous versus their Starkiller. Fight's really simple, especially, when they... No, I love you, Kanan, as far as lore goes and stuff. You're a really cool character, but you have not aged super well. So we start off, things are going well. We didn't... Mara Jade isn't even taking her second turn. And I was a little curious right now, this is the right move, but we just kind of went and splurged for it with the AoE, because that way we would hit 5 targets, gain a bunch of turn meter, GG would get speed up, and Nute would be out of cleanse. So we went ahead and slowed Nute down just a little bit. Stuck on Mar, we want to make sure to kill her first. And now, this is another point where I was just kind of like, okay, what do we do here? Do we kill Visas? Because the reason I'm afraid of Visas is because she's going to bring Mara back, and then maybe this all just goes downhill. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure if we don't kill her and everyone's not full health, she also doesn't get a revive. So I think we determined that the easier solution is just to try to kill her, because once she's gone, then we should be able to just take out Palp with a mass attack because we put extortion on him. So that's just the two of them, and this battle's definitely over by now. Losing those 3 characters before they even really get to do anything. Yeah, so we're able to crit the Star Killer there. He goes down, and once again, this counter just works flawlessly. Again, Kanan didn't exactly hurt the cause here. Oh my gosh, okay. All right, so we're taking in Jedi Master Luke up against Rey, and this is a level 9 datacron raid. It's the one that gets ult super fast. So you can see we're about, I don't know how, less than 25 seconds in the match, and she already has ult. And at this point, I'm already panicking. I'm like, okay, this is not going to go well. We didn't even put one of them into damage immunity, and she already got her first ult. Like, this is going to go very poorly. So we go ahead and stay on resistance here with Finn. I'm pretty hesitant to go right after Rey, just because they also have like 160% health steal or something like that, and I don't think we just get her down. So this continues to not go super well. We haven't gotten anyone down. We've only gotten one character in damage immunity. Everybody kind of looks like they're about to just kill over and die, and Rey's already going to get to her second ult. So I'm like fairly certain by now that our only hope right now is to just make sure Jolie survives at all costs. So we specifically held our ult so that we would be able to refresh Jolie's cooldown so that he'll be able to revive again. Specifically keep calling in Jolie so that he doesn't die, because he's the only thing that is gonna matter right now. So we don't do the revive because I'm gonna want all 5 characters to get it when they do get there. Putting protection back on Jolie, and just really stinking hoping Jolie doesn't bite it here. Because if he bites it, this is all gonna go downhill very quickly. So he's got his revive procced. Raddus are ult, and it's just the 2 of them. I'm like, okay, this is not good. She might have a whirlwind as well, so we went ahead and ability blocked her, and now it's just kind of like, okay, so she really has to die now. So she gets a whirlwind off, she takes out Jolie. The other 3 are still standing, but I really don't think this matters. As soon as she gets her ult, we're pretty much just dead. So we go ahead and push her turn meter back. We get a hit off of Giant Luke. We get another hit off of Giant Luke, and then Cam had just enough offense to kill her. And that battle was just it was one. I don't often get super stressed out during those matches. That one was pretty stressy. So now we go ahead and take in our Bad Batch versus the Sith team. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how avoidable this was, or the AI just played it really well, but they killed Tech pretty much right out the gate, and that's pretty much matched. Like, he doesn't get a turn, because if he can cleanse everyone, typically Wrecker will start taunting again, everything will be fine. As you guys can see, that's not really the case. So the issue here is typically, so Maul isn't really super great because they don't get a bunch of speed from Ferocity, and because they don't get that, they aren't typically able to loop the debuffs. But because we can never cleanse them even once, it doesn't even matter. There's just nothing that our team can do. They're going to be able to loop their debuffs because we weren't able to cleanse them immediately, and then yeah, Wrecker just takes it there. I probably could have exited out of this, but at the same time, I mean, I think that Darth Revan was capping out at like 550 speed or 450 speed, so I don't think it mattered. So we just went ahead and brought in Bam, and actually, I kind of like this a lot, honestly. Again, not having Darth Revan lead in here really is very nice for us, because then, so IG is now at 50% health. They would have Death Mark on Bam by now. Luckily, you know, they used Maul lead, so we kind of get to work around this. We are able to kill Bastila Fallen there. That was really nice. Trying to figure out what I want to do with Nest here. I don't think I want Talented Eye, because the other 3 are all... Maul's a little irrelevant. Oh, yeah, she dodged. That was beautiful. Maul's a little irrelevant. Darth Revan is really hard to kill. Marauder can be really hard to kill given the amount of buffs. That Fear was actually kind of nice, though, because now our Bam isn't going to hit at 17 birds. Rather, he's going to wait until he gets all the way up to 20. And then when he gets his birds this next time, it does very fun things. The whole team just dies. So now we're going up against Gas, and So the whole plan was to take in CLS versus this, or actually was to use C Watt here, because I thought that they were going to have the stun one. Otherwise, I would have liked to use CLS, but we left one defense. And chat was telling me that we don't need Watt, and honestly, I think they were right. So we took in Talon just kind of for fun, and that was honestly probably a waste too. Like, she ate the armor shred, not a good call. And then we just massively, massively misplayed this. Like, just absolutely terribly misplay it. So we link up here, and that actually was probably fine, just because that'll keep Arc from critting us. But yeah, so we should have been holding ult, and we eventually we take it. I don't know why I did this. I just thought that without Watt, you want to ult, and that's just wrong, because how this works is we just triggered Sacrifice, which means they're now super clones, and like, we survive, and I don't even think that's luck. You know, C just has the stats to do it, but at the same time, just totally avoidable mistake. Very, very dumb. Don't do that. Yeah. Anyway, so now we get to take Wampa versus Iden to calm our nerves, because that just will, of course, work every single time. Iden only had like one potency set, so there was no chance that she was going to be able to get us. And the datacron they have didn't have any potency. It had like, I think, I want to say a little bit of protection, a little bit of crit damage. It wasn't nearly enough to be able to stop this counter, especially at least the way we have our Wampa modded, especially with a lot of defense. They struggle to get through that, honestly. So Wampa's going pretty strong here. We're applying healing immunity at the right times. We get kind of lucky that she had the revive like right up until the point where we were able to kill both Stormtrooper and Death Trooper. We hit Iden there. I don't know why. That was dumb. But yeah, so pretty much things... I mean, those two are probably the most problematic. Once those two are dead, it's kind of whatever. Snow does get the revive and then kills himself. And then, yeah, it's just a concept of waiting, or a question of waiting now to build up enough offense that we just smoke the two of them, which I probably wasn't even paying... I think I might even put this on auto. I wasn't even paying attention right now. Yeah, it's just such a simple and easy fight. There we go. Free 68 as per usual. So now we have to try to take down Grand Inquisitor. I've never fought in Grand Inquisitor, so we streamed this very early, so really had no idea what worked against him. And we go ahead and try our Watt and Veers, because they have a lot of speed mechanics to be able to get out in front. And this is the only team that I could actually speed it. I think the trick actually is for Inquisitors, you don't outspeed them, but you take in squads that are reactive, and we'll get to that in a second. But, so we go in here, and we start aiming for Grand Inquisitor immediately, and this was a mistake, because as soon as we crit him, we get stuck behind 9th, and you can say what you want about Inquisitors, but if you don't have a lot of damage, you do not get through 9th. I mean, Dark just triple tapped her, in the lineup with Piet and whatnot, and we just did nothing. Like, that was really horrendous damage on him, or on her. What we could have done, and what we should have done, is probably been aiming at 9th until we had Veer's mass attack, and then gone all in on Grand Inquisitor. But even then, I don't know if that would have worked. I don't know if that would have killed him. I don't know if we had the damage to do that, because this team does have a lot of hidden mechanics. That AoE was dumb. There was no point. They all had tenacity up, and they're also dark side, so should have just basicked, even though the dark was dazed there. We get kind of close to getting 9th down here for a second, but we don't. So then she gets full health, and they get to do that. So we go ahead and leave that team alone, and this is also like, this was unwise. So they put Malik in here with Kyle Katarn, and I have no idea. I'm not really sure what that was meant to stop. I think it might have been made to stop Wampa. I never do that, but some people do. And I'm pretty sure, I was like 99% sure this wasn't going to work, because we were going to be feared the whole time. And then Kyle Katarn was eventually just going to get in a big hit where he would just kill us. This probably honestly works if you have Relic Iden, but I just think Gear 13 probably doesn't cut it for the most part. But we did it anyways, much to our own demise. As you can see, pretty much immediately Snow is killed, and then Death is killed as well. So shouldn't have done this. Should have been looking for something else. But I was kind of thinking this match was probably over as soon as we lost to Grand Inquisitor, because I didn't know if we'd be able to clear it. It was just such a foreign team. So yeah, we go ahead and take in our Qui-Gon Jinn now to clean him up, the Sky Guitar, and I'm pretty sure this will work. And I hate that. So Mon Mothma will get Shatter Point, but you can't target her, so it just completely wastes Shatter Point for that second. And this is also really dumb. We keep holding Jedi Anakin's AoE, thinking that Qui-Gon Jinn's about to bite it, and you know, plot twist, he's just not biting it. He's staying there just fine. And we, you know, by now we would have a second Jedi Anakin AoE, and even more here in a couple seconds, we would even have a third one. So we are able to get everybody, like, this would have been great. We have offense up. Yeah, we could have done so much damage, but we didn't. Kept thinking they were about to kill Jedi Anakin. They bring Kara back, which was probably expected. Go ahead and call in Jedi Anakin. Again, could use the AoE here. This would have done a ton of damage, but we're just kind of assuming they're about to kill Qui-Gon Jinn, and then they don't. Well, to be fair, they have to go after Mace there, but there are other opportunities where they do, and they just don't. Yeah, then they go after Barris. Again, could use the AoE here. That would have been fine, but we don't. And they go and kill Qui-Gon, and we had just used the AoE. Ultimately, doesn't really matter. Shatter Point actually did a big number, and then we were able to kill Mon Mothma herself on an AoE, and this is actually really fun to watch. So I don't love losing Qui-Gon, obviously, but seeing Mace get to reduce all of Malik's fun stuff every single turn, that's really fun. So we go ahead and take a Nisus versus Geos, just because this is still a solid counter. It's still something you want to do, and we didn't have a lot left at this point, especially because I kind of just wanted to throw a bunch of stuff at Grand Inquisitor just to see what stuck, and there's not a whole lot of strategy involved in this match. I mean, they don't even get stuck on zombie. They just keep hitting zombie for fun, and we just take them apart by using specials. I'm sure there is a layer of strategy to this, but it's not super necessary. Because I was to be honest, I was pretty much just button mashing this match for the most part. Do try to spread plague, try to make sure those that can cleanse don't do it. And I guess GBA is the only one that truly cleanses, because he's the one who also has the heal. Just slowly take them down. Eventually they just keep killing and killing and killing, and Ventress's damage is going to stack. We go after Poggle as the weak one, which is, I don't know how badly you need to do that, but we did it, just because once he's gone, then his health protection is also gone from the health pool. And yeah, GBA I think bites it from plague, and the team just falls apart. I mean, we end the battle with Sasha full protection, which is really weird. I don't know if a GBA dot. He must have missed. All right, so now we go and take our bounty hunters up against this dash team. Really not a lot to write home about it as far as this dash team goes. This is typically how bounty hunters work for us. Even being super lore geared, we're able to go first, of course. The dash was decently fast. I think he was 361, not too up there, but we were still at 380 no matter what. So we were able to knock him out. We don't get the stuns we need on our dude Zalbar over there, so that's really a bummer. Yeah, this part of the fight is just really annoying, because Zalbar honestly is a really good tank. There are so many cleanses nowadays. If you don't have a way to taunt and taunt and taunt and taunt, a lot of times your taunt is just kind of irrelevant. But that being said, he does have that, and then he, mission assists and she days, and then boss doesn't heal as much as he should because he's not taking his own turns. But as you can see, they're not really getting anywhere, and then we're able to go in and actually annihilate their Zalbar so that we can just bypass them and go beat Vandor up. And we get sidetracked on Vandor, and we go ahead and kill the Candors for fun. And then we go back to Vandor, and we kill him as well. And then, yeah, this team just doesn't really win. Pretty easy 65 there, and then we've got, again, I want to leave as much for Grand Inquisitor as possible so that we can see what we have to take him out. So I'm looking at options, and like, Geos and Gideon should work against this. This should be fine. I don't know if I've ever gone against this good of a Nute team. Like, these are pretty high relics on all the characters, and Count Dooku wasn't too fast, but most people's Gideons are faster than most people's Count Dooku, so that's just pretty safe to assume. Go ahead and just use the armor shot on Nute, just because I don't want to really get countered by anyone else, and can't kill Django. So we at least ability block Nute. That was pretty good. I wanted to probably ability block What's-His-Face too. We get into some pretty good hits on Dooku. He's gone, so that really eliminates the problem of getting stuck behind Nest. We go ahead and start some hits on Nute. Django goes. We should have been targeting Droidic at this point. That was, or at least ability blocking. Yeah. So Django gets his big hit off on I believe it was Soldier. So that kind of stinks, because now we're out tenacity down, so we're not going to be able to land all the debuffs that we want to land. But at the same time, it's probably fine. Soldier isn't. You want him on the team, like, you don't want to constantly leave him out, but at the same time, the Geos will survive without him. So we get Django out, which is really nice. Oh, this is the one really annoying thing. So, Soldier was our main dispel as well. So we have other dispels, like Spy can dispel with his big hit, and GBA can also dispel with his AoE or if he gets a crit or something. But I wanted to make sure we Nute nest there, which is fine, because Droidica isn't going to kill this team. The most he can do is hit one character. So we go ahead and rip everything off of him, decrease his turn meter. Don't get the ability block. He's probably dodging a bunch. Continues to dodge. We do eventually get him down. And now, we have Jedi Knight Revan, and we're not taking them against Grand Inquisitor. So we go ahead and take them against the typical, not typical, but this is starting to become a more common team, like Potency Bounty Hunter team. So I like this team. I like the concept behind this team. It's very good. I mean, we lost to it last week, so it's obviously not bad. But at the same time, I think this team is going to fall out of favor really quickly, just because from what I can gather, the main plus to this team is the fact that you can make 2 bounty hunter teams, and I think we're moving away from wanting more teams and just making super teams. So yeah, I don't know. So having Zam here and having your boss Grief Mando somewhere else, I mean, it probably is a fine split right now, but I don't think this is going to age very long. Also, we got to use Ayla here, so that was fun. I got full protection. I mean, there wasn't a lot of strategy to this one. I wanted to kill Zam first because her bonuses go with her. I don't enjoy her staying around the entire match. And Boba's annoying because you have to kill him twice, so we waited a minute on him. So now we go ahead and take in our Dash team, just because I'm thinking, okay, so yeah, Young Hana's gear 12, so that's arguably laughable. But at the same time, he does have stacking damage, so I'm thinking, this is probably fine. We'll see where this gets us. Like, we're able to apply a few debuffs. L3 is constantly cleansing, and they don't have a lot of dispels. I think they have Grand Inquisitor's 1 AoE dispel, and they have 7... not Grand Inquisitor, sorry. 8 or 5th Brothers AoE dispel, and then they have, I think, 7 Sisters singular dispel, but other than that, like, they get stuck behind L3's taunt pretty consistently. The problem is, yeah, so we're at 3 minutes and a half right now. We're starting to build some damage. As you can see, we just keep going through the fight, and eventually I just put this on auto to see if we can stack enough damage. It just doesn't do anything. If we had like a fully relic Dash team, or maybe even just an R7 young Han, this might have gotten somewhere, but ultimately it ends in like a really bad timeout. That's kind of what I was saying about Ninth Sister. She just kind of does that. So I was told a little bit about this team, and I'm like, okay, we have nothing to lose. We might as well do this now. And the reason why I was a little hesitant on it is because my Triumphant is gear 12. The enemy team is entirely relic. They have better mods than we do. I mean, so we've taken, Sidious and Dooku there as buddies to get some more hits on and get or heal our team. Also, we isolate Grand Inquisitor here. Dumb. Should have been doing that to Ninth Sister so we could actually kill characters. Don't do that. So now they're getting pretty darn close to getting our Scion, but I imagine everyone's thinking kind of what I'm thinking. Nihilus is now super tanky, and he's getting kind of close to his Annihilate. And once he gets an Annihilate, that's pretty much game. That's game for the enemy team. One of the other kind of cool things here as well is you can actually get rid of all the Purge, and then Ninth Sister stops taunting, which is very, very hard to do otherwise. So she does that, and then we kill 7th, and now we just annihilate Grand Inquisitor. Like that, and that's game. Like then now we can auto this match. So I think Traya, datacrons aside, I think Traya is going to have huge viability up against the Inquisitors, maybe even in territory wars as well. Because this is the fully relic team, and we're sitting here with gear 12 on 3 of our characters, and then kind of crappy sides. Like, we're not taking in big hitters like Talon or maybe Marauder or Set or whoever. Like, this is, it's Sidious. So yeah, this worked out very well for us. I really wish I would have tried this first. That would have been very nice, but now we know. We didn't know before. We get the ships, and he put down a pretty good ship blend, and I'm just kind of wanting to get through this now. So we go ahead and mirror the Malevolence, which that was a good idea. I think we had, I don't know if we actually had something else that could beat this. Finalizer was going to beat it. Yeah, my Rebels were going to beat it. So yeah, this is pretty much it, unfortunately. So I had to mirror this, and this mirror honestly isn't terrible. If they dodge a certain amount of things, it is kind of a pain. And then of course we get stuck behind the Vulture Droid thing not assisting, and one day maybe that'll get fixed, but a day was not today. And oh yeah, this wasn't great either. We Okay, actually, that's not that bad, because we had an option to taunt. I was a little afraid that we were going to get stuck behind the Vulture's taunt, or rather, Spy's taunt that got put on him, but we really don't. We're saving that last Geonosian ship just in case they are able to kill our Hyena, and I need, like, you know, one last-ditch opportunity here. And we get them down pretty well. I'm trying to check to see which one of these is the real Vulture, right? It's the one in the back. We have that nailed down now, and they bring in a reinforcement right before we get there. Kill our Hyena, and like I said, we have our last reserve Geo, because once your Geos are all dead, then this match is just over. And luckily we have our big AoE, our mass attack ready there, so we take out that team. And now we try to take our Finalizer in versus Negotiator, and this is really where I should have looked into this counter just a little bit more, because we did it last round. But last round, it was Rex in the starting lineup, and that does change it, because of when the second hit comes in. My whatchamacallit, my shuttle was not supposed to take a turn yet if this was Rex, with it, because the Soka he did. So this did come out differently than I would have liked it to, because we weren't able to rip off the taunt. At the same time, we just put down the ability block, and this is, again, I need to become more familiar with this counter, because this is something that I'm just gonna have to do. So now he's taunting when I really don't want him to be taunting, because typically this is where we would trigger the revive on Jedi Anakin. Don't have that luxury this time. So we just start to get some hits on who we can get hits on. That's all we can do. Bring in Ebonhawk. This is typically where we would hit the revive, but I'm like, okay, we can put buff immunity on him. Maybe this is still salvageable. And then Plo comes in and just ruins absolutely everything. That's just throws the entire counter in the trash. We had buff immunity. We had them all down pretty low. Almost able to take them out, and then Plo comes in, ruins everything. They heal back up. Finalizer's AoE apparently doesn't have enough damage to kill a hunted target, so that also really was not fun. So now, not only did we not get them, or not only did we lose, but we didn't even get Jedi Anakin now, which means there's no way that we're going to be able to get that in a second shot. So we just go ahead and take what we can by killing their Raddus fleet with our rebels. This counter again is also just wildly simple. I don't think there's, I don't know if you can lose this. They rely way too much on buffs, and the Millennium Falcon just strips off buffs every single turn. Even being, you know, severely outgeared or whatever in comparison between the two teams, it just doesn't matter. Ripped right through the main two. I mean, this does take a second because they bring in Sarge. I do like the Phoenix Squadron just because I can control the board really quickly, and honestly, my casting is like gear 7, so probably not a whole huge big point in trying to use him. So yeah, we bring in both our Rebel or our Phoenix team. Of course, they do fine. Casting probably would have done fine too. It's not that big of a deal. Again, they just keep bringing in reinforcements, and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, they're just gonna get ult, and I don't know if ult would steal a banner. Well, I know it wouldn't steal on the capital, but I don't know if they would be able to get someone else down enough to get protection off on someone or something like that. So yeah, again, this is very, very easy. We just have one more ship to kill, and it's pretty much done for, and we get them down. So that is the match, and we do unfortunately end up taking the loss here. And these are the losses that kind of sting, because I could have prevented this. There were multiple mistakes. Granted, I should give myself a little bit of grace as far as the Grand Inquisitor situation, because we didn't know that, and it's not even like I could have gone around asking too many people, because this is literally the first opportunity, and I stream an hour after lock. I mean, I guess I could have scavenged around a little bit to figure out what was working, but the Iden team, because I would have had, so we lost by over 50 banners, which means I would have had to not fail both in Grand Inquisitor matches and the Iden one, which I feel like if I would have knocked out Grand Inquisitor in one try, that would have worked. And then the other thing that this is really realistic, probably we could have won it. If we just had studied this counter, maybe that would have worked. But at the same time, I've lost that so many times. Maybe I'm just making things up. And our opponent did fail on quite a bit of stuff. Lord Vader held for 7 matches. I'm guessing he tried a Galactic Legend the first time and only could kill the 4 sides, and then Lord Vader just didn't die. Because the datacron he has does have health steal, and it's the cooldown reduction one. Starkiller held in front. Maybe he pulled the GL. I have no idea. He did have 5 GLs on defense, and we only put down 3, I think. And then he failed on Mon Mothma as well. So, unfortunately, we actually probably would have won this had the situation been reversed, like had it been his ground and our fleet. However, he actually did fail on fleet as well. However, fleet is worth more in 5s right now, so losing that area really did hurt. But it is what it is. We'll try next round, I guess. But thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and as always, stay awesome.